What are your skills? What are your passions? I mean, these are critical questions you need to ask yourself. What gets you excited, right? Because when you go to school, here's what happened. For 2 years, and have a roommate from mine, Glenn, I was an intro major. I majored in intro for 2 years. So I found it, it's a true story. Tom, what you taking? I'll take an intro. When you say, Tom, it's sophomore year, Tom, I'll take an intro. Because I'm serious. I took intro because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Now, all of a sudden, the summer after my sophomore year, I took economics. I never taught economics. I breezed through economics like it was drinking a cup of water. I'm like, whoa, I got my thing, economics, right? Major economics and accounting, right? And that's kind of how I got my major. So I wasn't sure going in. There was pressure on me to be a doctor and all the things, lawyer, but really that wasn't my passion. So you can't go to school because you're just supposed to go to school. Can I say amen? Someone say amen? Yes. You don't go to school because you're supposed to. You go to school because you have a passion and a direction and a path to go on. So when you go on your path, on your journey, I preached a sermon not too long ago talking about the narrow road. I was down in Virginia, and in Virginia, in the country land, it's nothing but narrow roads. And when you're on the narrow road, when you get off course, especially when you talk about education and your destination, you've got to be able to get back on course. And I lost GPS signal, and it kept on saying rerouting. It kept on saying, that's a terrible feeling. Full moon at night, 10 o'clock, don't know where I'm going. No GPS, no cell phone. All I can do is pray. But I'm saying that is what happens when you're on a journey and you get to a college or you go to a major that you're not happy with. It's a terrible thing. How many, come on, adults, how many got jobs that you just know it's only a job? That you have to work, but it's not your passion. You don't get excited about going to work. Come on, I'm preaching to the choir. Because that was me at Rutgers. It was a good job, but I was able to help somebody. If you go on Facebook, I have over 2,500 friends, right? Now, I got friends to this day who would say, Tom, we're not for you, hooking you up. I used to be able to hook people up because I worked in financial aid as a student. I was hooking people up. I'm talking about hooking up. That's when tuition was $1,000 a semester. Yeah, the big, big point of exclamation. Okay, so, admissions requirements. Every school has its requirements, right? And we're going to look at these. I'm going to give you, this is going to be it's not a fluff presentation. We're going to look at some schools. We're going to look at some of their requirements. We're going to look at some of the aid they offer. We're going to look at their financial aid policy. Let me tell you, there's something that they do. Back in the day, I think some schools still do this. Freshman year, what we do is called bait and switch. It's a policy. Bait is what? Get you to come in. Next year, sophomore year, we switch it to more loans and more debt. So it's bait and switch. Watch out for the bait and switch. That's real deal. I'm telling y'all, our goal as a profit-making entity. Don't think schools are in there just to fulfill your destiny. They're there to make money. So they will sell you a dream with their philosophy. You hear all the wonderful bells and whistles at an orientation. So the key here today, folks, is you're going to do your homework. I'm going to get you to the point where you're going to want to apply for as many scholarships before the spring of your senior year. There are so many students that I could not help because once you get to Rutgers, once you get to a situation, once you get to college, you've already filed the application. It's based on a certain amount of aid that you can get. It can't go beyond that. We want to talk about that too. So, what's your admissions requirements? We need to know what schools, what they require. Okay. What did you decide? What do they say kids use to decide on colleges? Well, first they say reputation, right? You want to go to a good school, correct? Cost, school size, research opportunities, friends influence, and there's rankings there. We're going to look at that too. These are different areas that are very important. Now, so with all this information at the beginning, what's my next move? What's your next move? Well, it depends on where you're at. So let's go to my website. I have a website that I created, especially for you guys. Okay, this is my website, and I think it's in your packet. So on my website, propowervision.org, I'm an educational consultant, and right now I'm trying to consult in the area of school, community, and family engagement. And so what happens is many times schools are so caught up in preparing for the test scores and getting the kids to prepare for this test, and they're not really providing a path for you. So what I want to do is get involved with companies and find out what the community has to offer, what are our assets that we can build on. So the first thing you got to do is understand your career. Anyone know about their careers, about what they're paying? In this economy, I know people who got degrees and experience don't have jobs. So is your career relevant? There's a story I read today on the New York Times And one of the stories was a lady, young lady went to school for literature, spends, she's in $62,000 of debt. Well, you know, it was nice at the time, but she got no job. So she went for her passion, but she didn't really work that literature into a means of making a living for herself. So what can you do with literature? Well, you might want to do blogging. You might be able to blog your way to a career. I'm going to show you that too. On my website, I have links that talk about how to blog. So, social media and college admissions. Okay, you realize that whatever you put on Facebook never goes away? That every college admissions officer checks your Facebook. Because now that you know there's timeline, everything is on there that you put. So I would hate to see one of you lose out an opportunity for education because you put something inappropriate, or you have certain conduct on the Facebook life and you're putting a different conduct in front of everybody else. Now, anyone want to talk about? Anyone have an online identity that's a little bit different than your real identity? Because you're trying to impress, you're trying to, don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like you know what I'm talking about, because I know. I'm the same on my Facebook page as I am in real life. This is who I am. That's how I be encouraging. But admissions officers are looking at your Facebook. They're looking at your habits. Because what's going to tip you now, if they're down to a decision, what's going to make a difference? So let's talk about a great article that every parent here needs to read. New York Times, Degrees of Debt. Each of these young people has a story about their experience in college after graduating and decisions they made. Go and hear it for yourself. Hear it for yourself from students who were where you're at, didn't make the right decisions, went to school based on certain factors, and find themselves in debt and no jobs. When you hear that, so number one, this whole process is about managing college costs with a plan.